So, Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg says the overriding concern, the number one priority in the Biden Transportation Department is ending systemic racism. And to him, and I guess to the Biden folks, what that means is building interstate highways. The federal government has a history of building interstate highways and destroying minority neighborhoods. And I just inferred from that, is he basically saying the inner-city connector is dead, or at least 4 to 8 years before it even gets looked at again? What do you think about that?
I disagree with that. And, Shreveport-Bossier is for the inner-city connector. The African-American Chamber of Commerce is for the inner-city connector. You all have been talking about pay raises for teachers, which I'm supportive of. But in order to do that, you need economic prosperity. You need a growing tax base and a growing economy. The I-49 inner-city connector will produce $800+ million per year in economic activity for Northwest Louisiana and our state. That's what we need. We need growth in our community to be able to have a tax base that's growing so we can pay our teachers what they truly deserve.
But the Transportation Secretary is saying, we're not going to do it. It's cutting off economic opportunity. In fact, the Transportation Secretary is making the point that Allendale Strong and other opponents of the inner-city connector, like former Mayor Glover, State Rep Glover, have made forever. How do you start to overcome that sort of blanket paint with a broad brush statement?
No, this pulls people into the core of Shreveport-Bossier, and it doesn't cut off anybody from any area. It's open underneath. Look at what's going on at Burt Coons and I-49. You see the development there with Moffett, Audi, and Porsche, which their sales have increased since they've located there. I-49 will bring commerce to Shreveport-Bossier. We want to do that. It doesn't... Robert, I remember you talking about growing up in Palestine, Texas, and you talk about what happens. Build a loop, Walmart goes out there. What happens to the core of the city?
Gone.
Mm-hmm. That's what we don't want to happen to Shreveport-Bossier. We want people to come and see how great we are. Look at our downtown skyline. Look at our riverboats. Know that we are Shreveport-Bossier. Stop here, and let's have economic growth for our community. That's what we need. We need the jobs that are going to be a result of bringing this commerce through. Not only that, think about how it helps the citizens of North Caddo Parish, of North Bossier, of the Martin Luther King area connect to the rest of our city, connecting to our level 1 trauma center at Ochsner LSU. That 3.6 miles will save lives.
Do you dispute the report that Cedric Glover referenced about the low numbers of people that will travel that roadway? That seemed really low to me.
I don't know what he's saying. I heard him say that yesterday. I disagree with when there is a study that says there will be $800 million per year economic activity and upward for our community. I disagree with that. If you're going to say from Winnipeg, Canada to the Port of New Orleans, only 200 vehicles per day are going to be going across our country. This connects New Orleans, Lafayette, Alexander, Shreveport, Texarkana, Fort Smith, Arkansas, Bentonville, where Walmart is, Kansas City, and on up to Winnipeg, Canada. This is commerce. If you look at cities across our country that are prospering, they have interstate crossroads that are crossing north and south, east and west. We've got KCS here. We've got our port here. We've got I-20. We have Barksdale. We have a wonderful airport. We need to complete 3.6 miles.
The $100 million you guys have earmarked is to attract federal money. Cedric Glover talked about using, that we need to spend that money more on infrastructure and improving things, and say you can't use that money for anything other than roads. Is that accurate?
Per legislation, we have allocated that for the inner city connector for our community. It needs to be. That's part of the BP economic settlement. It's supposed to help with economic growth of our state. I-49 will be that economic growth that we need here in Shreveport-Bossier and across our state, connecting everybody.
So what's the next move? If you know that you have an antagonist in the Transportation Secretary's chair, and you know that they are the ones that make the final decision, what's the status going forward? What's the next pitch, and to whom?
I don't, and I've heard Representative Glover talk about that. We're going through the process. NLCOG is going through the process to get the record of decision. They are doing it by the book. And when that record of decision comes back, hopefully it will confirm that this 3.6 miles is the right way. And what's the Secretary Buttigieg, he needs to look at this. He will look, hopefully, and see what's there. But we're going through the process. Let's not take out of context. I didn't hear him say specifically, I'm against I-49 intercity connector or I-49 going through Lafayette. This is something that will help. Look at other cities that do interstates the right way.
But could one man kill it? Could Pete Buttigieg kill it?
I hope not. And I don't know that he's going to try to kill it. I don't know. We you're taking a speech of talking about how interstates have been wrong. We learn from our mistakes as a country, and we move forward and we do things better. I mean, look at the interstates around downtown Dallas, how they've made parks as part of the interstate. And that can happen with the interstate underneath there. If it's done the right way with lighting and the aesthetics of it, it brings together, and it is something that we need to embrace, that it brings commerce and people to the core of our city. Allendale used to have over 25,000 people living in it. Now it is substantially less than 25,000 people who are living there. And we need to reinvigorate Allendale, downtown, the core of our community. As Senator Glover mentioned yesterday, we want to reclaim and rebuild the core of our city. I-49 will do that. It's proven with a study that $800 million annual economic activity will come from completing this 3.6 miles.